Hi there, Gemini. I'm EllaAradia, and welcome to your March 2026 Psychic Tarot reading. This reading is for my Gemini air signs, where we'll be exploring the overall energies and themes for the month ahead, as well as taking a deeper dive into how these might be playing out for you in your life. This is a general reading, so it's going to resonate a little bit differently for all of you. But what I do find is there's always a shared theme that runs through the collective of all of you Gemini signs. So take what feels aligned to you and just leave the rest. And before we jump in, a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoyed this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then you get notified when the next videos are up. So Gemini, let's jump in. So I always like to tune into the energies first, Gemini, before I start pulling any cards. I just like to see what comes through. I'm feeling the energies of feeling underappreciated and undervalued in some way for what you are putting into something. So for many of you, this is going to be showing up in the career area of your life. There's something you've been putting a lot of time and energy and effort into with a view to getting something back from that. But I just feel like it's not coming in for you, whether that's, you know, simply just being acknowledged or whether that's a promotion of some sort. And I do feel that, you know, it's beginning to bring in this energy of feeling a little bit dissatisfied, disillusioned in some way, feeling a bit stuck. But actually, you know, we're never really stuck. I feel sometimes when we find ourselves in these situations, you know, it's a message. It's illuminating something to you that perhaps it is time to reassess this situation. I do feel like there are some kind of attachments to this, you know, and it has served a purpose. But there is this need, I feel, for more for you, where you do need to, you know, continue to grow and evolve and, you know, and expand and learn new things and, you know, grow your career in some way. And it may be that it's time for some kind of change for some of you, or be open to that. Because it's almost this feeling for me that where you are now, it might be that you've outgrown it. Now, for some of you, this is going to relate to your relationship. I'm seeing somebody that might have a tendency to gaslight you. And I feel like you're dealing with someone, I'm not sure how aware they are that they're doing this, but I feel like you're dealing with someone who really struggles to, you know, take accountability and look at their own issues, you know, how they might be showing up in the connection. And so there's this tendency to gaslight you, which of course then you start to question your truth, your true feelings or needs. And it's just interesting in terms of soul lessons and how, you know, other people mirror, you know, these unhealed parts to us, because there's something, as much as they're not taking accountability, there's something that this is mirroring to you that you need to take accountability for. And I would say that would be looking after your emotional needs, staying aligned with your truth, what you really want and what you really deserve, and not staying in something where you're kind of settling for less here and you're not having your needs met. So with your overall energies, we have the 10 of Cups. So this is a card of happiness, of, you know, emotional contentment. It's very often seen as, you know, the wishes granted, the kind of happily ever after card. What lies in your recent past, we have the Lovers. So some kind of choice that, you know, you may be standing, you know, right at that point now, some kind of choice that needs to be made. Some of you may have made this choice already. Sometimes it's a relationship choice, or it can be a choice which affects a relationship. But it's all about these energies of staying true to you and what your heart truly wants, staying aligned with, your truth, your true values, and making your choices, based on that. It's not about doing, what other people, want, or what other people think you should be doing. It's about you following your heart here and really staying true to your authentic self. With your current energies, we have the Three of Pentacles. I often look at that as a networking card, like particularly in, the area of career. It's very much these energies of getting yourself out there, connecting to others, but doing that in the energy of, this is the choice of the Lovers here. Sometimes this can represent when we're moving towards a life purpose, and, we're making a choice to follow our heart and what feels right for us. And to do that, you're also having to own, what you have to offer, your gifts, your skills, what you have to share. And you're very much kind of, owning that and standing in your power in that way, because it's all about connecting with others, and sharing and supporting each other and working towards, some kind of, common goal for the long term. In a love reading, sometimes this can represent a third-party energy. I do feel for some of you that might be something that you're dealing with, because there's something about your person which doesn't feel kind of clear to me and open. I almost get the sense of, something going on in the background there. But it does also represent, a desire to work together as a team. This is about working together and dealing with, whatever issues arise, because you're working together with a view to a long term. You're working together to build, strong foundations, which, are for the future. Your feelings towards your situation is the Six of Cups, a card of nostalgia, going back over the past. I definitely feel there's a lot of energy around getting a little bit caught up on perhaps the potential that you saw in this, especially with, the Six of Cups there. It's very often when we're going back, over the good times, the happy moments where things were great. And sometimes we can do that and we get more kind of hooked into the dream than the actual reality of what might be going on in a certain situation. So what lies in your challenge is judgment. You're being asked to question this. And judgment is the energy of taking a pause. It's a moment of a life review where you're being asked to really look at this whole situation. And it's a call to accountability. It's about looking at, at what point have you laid the groundwork, for the experience that you're having now, whether it's in career or relationship. Like I said at the beginning, the themes are the same. The soul lessons are the same here. What's at stake here is, I feel, your emotional fulfillment, staying true to, your values, what you really want, what you deserve, and not settling for less. And, to me, sometimes when I get the Six of Cups here, I always look at this as, perhaps there is some inner child healing that needs to be done. Because very often the experiences that we're having now, they actually go back even further into childhood, where perhaps there was a sense of not really feeling seen, recognized, or loved, for who you truly are. And there's a big invitation here, I feel, about choosing yourself, through the energies of self-love and self-worth and what you truly deserve. And there might be a belief here that you can't stand in your truth and have love. So that might be something for some of you to look at, but you are being asked, I feel, to really see the whole picture of the situation and to also see, what is the reality right now? Because there's something where, your needs are not being met. You're not feeling emotionally fulfilled. With the hidden influence, the Eight of Pentacles. So we've got the Three of Pentacles, broadening your horizons, getting yourself out there. The Eight of Pentacles is all about putting the work in and investing in something with a view to getting something back. But this time, you are making a choice that is more aligned with your heart. And that's why I feel for some of you, this is where you are moving into, some kind of life purpose. So it's some kind of very significant moment in your life. Some of you might be studying a new skill. That's also what the Eight of Pentacles represents here, learning something new. So definitely stay open to that, because I do feel there is an energy here of, growing and evolving and really furthering, your skill set. Your advice from the universe, the Page of Pentacles, that's exactly what I was just saying. This is also, some kind of new beginning. And it's about an openness to growing and evolving and learning and being open to perhaps, potential new opportunities. For some of you, you might be, moving into, a project that you've been working on, and it may involve stepping away from, a more familiar situation that perhaps has given you a financial security, but somehow, there's something unfulfilling about that. And it may be time to actually take a little bit of a leap of faith into, some kind of new beginning here. This also can represent, you putting the work into yourself, self-development and, making a commitment to really invest in you and how you are showing up. Because with Judgment here, this is all about learning from the past and taking the wisdom from those lessons from the past. And, that's what you move forward with, so that you don't repeat the same patterns and go down the same roads again. So some kind of new beginning here. And in your outcome, we have the Knight of Cups. So it's all about, I feel, whether this is love, career, whatever this is for you, the soul lessons are really about you, loving and accepting yourself, being your true, authentic self here, really taking your power in that way and moving forward, with that self-love and value. It's about you choosing you. And the thing with energy is once you do that for yourself, once you pour those energies into yourself, your vibration changes and you can then attract, somebody or something where, they are ready to give back to you what you are putting in. You can attract in what you really want. They can mirror that back to you. And, because what you've got going on at the moment is you're dealing with a situation where, these unhealed parts of you are being mirrored to you, the relationship you're having with yourself. And so when you can shift, when you can learn these soul lessons, your vibration shifts and, then that person or that situation can mirror that back to you. So Gemini, I'm going to leave that there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, Gemini, and I wish you a great month ahead.